Live from California Speedway, Fontana, California, ESPN Speed World is proud to present our coverage of the final race of the Kart FedEx Championship Series for 2000, the 500. Crowd's been pouring in here early this morning, still pouring in, and they are here to see a four-way battle in the championship. Roberto Moreno is no longer part of the fight. He would have had to qualify for the pole, and he didn't do it, but it's still DeFerrin, Fernandez, Paul Tracy, and Kenny Breck, who are all and each looking for their very first championship title. Hello and welcome to
The 2000 Marlboro 500 was the last race of the 2000 kart season that saw four drivers try and go for the championship during the race. It was held on October 29th and 30th at the then named California Speedway in Fontana, California. There had been a major threat of rain in the area throughout the day, but the championship fight was still between Joe DeFerrin, Adrian Fernandez, Kenny Breck, and Paul Tracy, as after qualifying, Roberto Moreno was eliminated from championship contention. The race still had your usual suspects during this era, including Michael Andretti, Jimmy Vasser, Juan Pablo Montoya, Alex Tagliani, Christian Fittipaldi, Patrick Carpentier, Max Pappas, Dario Franchitti, and a young Tony Kanaan. The pole sitter was Joe DeFerrin, who did this on Saturday.
Parker already suggested flat all the way around. First lap for Joe DeFerrin, 241.428 miles an hour. That breaks Mauricio Guzman's record, that breaks the closed course record, and that puts him on the pole. What a surprise that is.
As the pace laps continued on, Luis Garcia Jr. would not start the race, leaving him 26th, likely with mechanical issues, of course. Joe DeFerrin would lead 25 cars to take the green flag.
Gonna be good or what? DeFerrin, the pole sitter, track record, blaze this track. They pick up the speed as they come off of four, the front row. DeFerrin and Andretti already taking a look toward the green flag. Green flag is out. DeFerrin jumps to the lead, and here we go. Castro Neves moves very, very high. He's been there most of the week. Down low, it's Montoya that takes a look at second place to battle with Castro Neves. The two Newman Haas cars drop back. Fittipaldi and Michael Andretti and go side by side coming off the corner. Castro Neves now looks for the lead. Is his job here today to play the rabbit to DeFerrin?
I would think so. I mean, the drivers that have been around 500-mile races know you've got to back off right from the start, conserve the car, try to get the fuel mileage. I'm surprised to see the two Penske teammates already fighting for the lead.
Yeah, why would you fight at all if you're DeFerrin? Nevertheless, he is as DeFerrin goes back for the lead at the 500. Montoya faded, and as a result, Michael's able to come up into third place, but here comes Castro Neves again. Two Penske cars continue to battle. Here comes Michael closing in, and as we give you our rundown throughout the race in the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice a highlight of yellow between those, behind those,
the Penske cars would trade the lead back and forth since this was still the era, of course, of the Hanford device, considering it was back stretch and front stretch and heading into the corners. After 10 laps, the top five were all over each other as Franchitti, Montoya, and Andretti would try to challenge the Penske duo for the lead, as there's already fuel saving going on throughout the field. On lap 23, the first caution, of course, would come out.
You've got to plan the pass exactly right in order to take advantage of your superior speed.
Here's ninth place Jimmy Vasser. You saw Kenny Breck go low as the yellow comes on. And Parker takes a good look to search the track.
Yeah, we can see debris up in turn 4. Actually,
an accident in turn 4, but the accident came after the yellow. And it looks to be Cristiano D'Amata.
And Paul, I thought from Vasser's onboard, we actually saw debris come up and over the car as we saw the yellow come on. I thought I saw something flick across the nose there.
And part of the problem may be that Paul Tracy has damage. Looking like the whole cowling came off the car. Now, is that damage, or did that just rip away?
Well, it looks like it's missing the plenum to me, Paul. The whole top of the intake stack is gone. There's no pop-off valve, We've seen this a number of times with the Hondas in the past. They get a plenum fire.
Caution was actually for debris on the track as Paul Tracy blew an engine and the top of the cover would come off, scattering debris. But while this happened, Cristiano D'Amata hit some of that debris and it destroyed his front suspension, and thus leading to him hitting the outside wall. For D'Amata, it would be a 25th place finish in his last race with the PPI team, as Kyle Wells' team were shutting down their kart team after this race. For Tracy, it's what could have been, as his championship hopes end after finishing 24th. First two DNFs of this race have occurred. Keep this in mind, there's a counter in the right corner. The entire field would pit under this caution. An 11-second pit stop for DeFerrin has him 4th, while his teammate stalls on pit road, leaving him 18th. When Pablo Montoya would just win the race off pit road, barely beating Dario Franchitti. Before the field could go back to green, however, rain had made its way across the Speedway. And despite hopes by everyone that the race could get run, the race would ultimately get rained out and thus be moved to Monday, thus leading to, of course, the 29th and 30th, as I said in the intro. Before the race would be going, though, there would be some controversy, as car would during this era that would come up.
Now, with an overnight chance of everybody to talk, Parker, can't be without controversy.
Well, we dove into the rule book because, of course, we thought that you, of course, as the rule book states, you can make whatever repairs you want to in the pit box during the course of the red. But this rule says that if the race is restarted on another day, a replacement race car and the driver may be allowed at the discretion of the chief steward. But some controversy has come up over this rule. Isn't that right, Jan?
Yeah, it has, Parker, and that's because the initial part of that rule is that you can do the normal work that you would do during a pit stop in your pit box during a red flag. But then CART last night released the cars from the pit boxes to the garage, effectively allowing the teams to do whatever they wanted. It has some engine changes, gearbox changes. That has some teams hot. What they would have rather have seen the chief steward do is take the cars from the pit boxes and impound them. So no changes could be made other than what was made yesterday afternoon. And there's still a lot of discussion about that up and down.
Engine changes, trying to get an advantage? That's bullshit by the end of this damn race. After over 15 laps, the green flag would finally come out on lap 40 as Montoya leads the field.
Of the 40th lap, here comes Montoya. Franchitti tucked in close behind him. Green flag comes out. The 500 is on once again as Michael Andretti comes screaming down alongside of Franchitti and grabs second place. Michael then goes outside of Montoya, and Michael Andretti picks up the lead of the race.
Yeah, it looked like Michael was shot out of a cannon there. Keep in mind, you mentioned the track conditions are different. All the rubber's been washed off with the rain. The track and air temperature is the highest we've seen all weekend. Doesn't seem to affect Michael Andretti. He has taken off.
Franchitti comes inside of Montoya, goes wheel to wheel with him, and comes into second place. At the same time, a bit further back, several of the different cars have been fighting with one another. It's actually a pretty good fight all the way through the field as we show you the data box in the upper left-hand corner.
Montoya would drop to third while Andretti would jump from third to the lead. The racing has definitely been intense despite the fuel saving, but something that has been slightly alluded to early on and is about to really start taking place over the next 200 laps is about to happen.
On those opening laps. And we've got a motor that's gone off as they came past our position.
Franchitti pulls off the edge of the course. Looks like the motor may be gone there. Tracy had the plenum explosion yesterday. Jan Bikas, this would be another Honda.
Yes, and the answer to the question as to what did they change overnight for Honda, they did not change any engines, but they changed the engine mapping because they were concerned about what happened to Paul Tracy. They said Paul Tracy's engine, there was an engine failure that led to the plenum explosion, but they changed the mapping just in case. Now with Dario Franchitti in trouble, you have to wonder about our championship point leader, Gilles DeFerrin.
Well, and Kenny Brack is on the charge. He's moved up.
Dario Franchitti's engine would die off turn 2. After a very disappointing season, Franchitti will finish 23rd. While that had happened, Jimmy Vasser had taken the lead, while his teammate was under attack from Kenny Brack. After his bad pit stop, Elio Castroneves has been hauling complete ass from 18th to 6th in less than 10 laps. Kenny Brack would then take the lead from Jimmy Vasser on lap 46. 12 laps later, on lap 58, Castroneves takes lead after a tough fight against Kenny Brack. But a lap later, Brack gets back by as the two battle on.
The rain overnight. feels pretty similar. My car, again, felt great this morning, which is even more frustrating. I felt we had the car to win the race. All right, tough end of the season. Thanks, Dario. Thanks, Ron.
Boy, Breck and Castroneves going back and forth at one another. On one hand, you know that Castroneves would like to win this race. On the other hand, too, you could, I would think, be looking at strategy out of Penske, and that they want Castroneves out there as a rabbit to try and pull Breck along and get him out of the equation on the laps led.
Well, certainly, and that works well for Castroneves. He has a different strategy than his teammate. He wants to win this race, take the $1 million. The Farron obviously is just focused on the championship. Kenny Breck, though, has to get by Castroneves to lead the most laps to get that valuable point if he wants to take the championship.
Rick DeBrule.
Just want to give you some information on Kenny Breck. He's actually flying blind out there. The dash isn't working. He's not getting information on the dash. The very beginning of the race, they were trying to fix it. Finally, he said, guys, just talk me through this. So right now, he's getting the information from the pit to keep him updated.
From a driver's perspective, that's a little unnerving when the telemetry goes down, when the dash goes down, but on a super speedway, it's probably the best place for it to happen. You know that you're only going to use one of the two top gears. You know that you have to go up into 6. The only problem is fuel, but as long as they've got radio communication, the pits can keep them updated at all times. And actually, in some ways, it's a blessing in disguise because then you're not distracted by any of the shift lights or any of the instrumentation.
Kenny Breck takes the lead back, and then Castroneves takes it back again. Battle continues to seesaw at the front. We're going to give somebody in the broadcast booth the unenviable task of trying to figure out what the lead changes away from the line are. Officially, they only count at the start-finish line, but remember at Michigan, we had over 160 lead changes around the track. And Castroneves again.
And significantly, as they crossed the start-finish stripe, Breck was in the lead, even though Castroneves came back. That's all Kenny cares about. If he can keep slingshotting, coming down into 3 and holding the lead, and he does it once again, that's all he cares about. It's helping his fuel economy. It's letting his engine breathe a little bit. Castroneves is actually helping Kenny Breck at this point. Now, at the front, Kenny Breck's probably getting around 2+ miles per gallon. There, he's led another lap, which is exactly what he cares about. He'll let Castroneves go.
We got 2 Red Warriors coming in there. Vassar and Montoya closing.
What it's going to tell you is if you go 2-3 cars back, all of a sudden the mileage jumps 10% or more. These guys are back at 2.2, 2.3. It makes a huge difference when you start looking down the road in 400 miles as far as number of pit stops. Remember, Patrick Fernandez, that's the way they won last year, is being able to extend their fuel mileage. Everybody else had to do a full stop or a splash and go. Fernandez made it to the end without that last additional stop.
Continuing to track and check on the contenders while this battle goes on at the front. Adrian Fernandez, Rick DeBrule right now is in 10th.
You know, he's using a different...
As you guys already saw, the battle continued on for most of the rest of the green flag run, as it seems the two were almost playing a game. As we come back from commercial break, green flag pit stops have occurred and are punished. However, while Castroneves was in pit road, Jimmy Vassar will drop out of the race with the gearbox failure. He will finish 22nd in his final race for Chip Ganassi. Multiple drivers get different wing adjustments during their pit cycles. While Pablo Montoya is looking to win all 3 500-mile races in the year of 2000, as he had won the Indy 500 and the Michigan 500 that year, to potentially take an unofficial Triple Crown. However, while he's having a pit stop,
He hit it cleanly, but he is on the proper spot.
Oh, and we saw
on the front straightaway.
something go behind you, you bet, Gary.
That was Mimo Gidley, I think.
Gidley slows, pulls it down off the line over in the first turn, and they go to yellow. They also put the course condition flag out for possible oil on the front straight, and the pits are now closed, but that really shouldn't matter for anyone.
Mimo Gidley's engine would let go in the front stretch, bringing out the second caution. Or maybe the third caution, since they officially counted that. Who the hell knows? Gidley would finish 21st, being the 5th DNF of the race.
In turn 3, just went, yeah, I lost all drive, and I had no gears. The engine was still running fine. It was just some sort of final drive.
Had to include that moment from Vassar's interview. Joe DeFerrin had an 11-point lead over Fernandez at this point here, while Adrian Fernandez and his teammate Roberto Moreno would pit under the caution to try to get more fuel. Montoya would hold lead as he was on pit road when the yellow came out, so leads the field to take the green flag on lap 85.
To go green once again. 85 laps complete. Montoya takes him to the green, but Pappas wants the lead. Pappas comes inside of Montoya. Andretti is sitting in third. That's Castroneves back and forth.
You watch Max Pappas, I think of two things. The disappointment when he ran out of fuel at Michigan within sight of the checkered flag, and his first victory this year.
Max Pappas quickly takes the lead from Montoya on the restart. However, a couple laps later on lap 89,
together on the track, but the more they spread apart, that information isn't going to hold.
Tony Kanaan has an engine go. Kanaan has one let go. And looks like it's going to cause some serious trouble. Cars behind him as the oil sprayed out of that engine, and let's see who's involved. Well, there's Oriol Servia. Heavy damage to that car. But he's moving around. Thank goodness it appears that he's okay. Boy, that's no time to have an engine go.
Tony Kanaan loses an engine while in front of almost the entire pack, causing Oriol Servia and Michael Andretti to hit and make contact with the outside wall. Andretti came inches from cleaning out Joe DeFerrin, but DeFerrin just avoids the wreck. All drivers involved would be okay. Servia would finish 20th. Andretti, who had led in some of the early laps during the restart of the race on Monday, finishes 19th, and Kanaan finishes 18th. That's now 8 DNFs this damn race. Under this caution, most of the lead lap field will pit, including DeFerrin and Kenny Brack, whose team fears they may have ran over some debris. 4 cars stayed out on the caution in the first pit cycle. 2 more would pit on, leaving just Roberto Moreno and Adrian Fernandez, who pitted on the previous caution. Fernandez would actually have the lead since he is third and DeFerrin was not, at least in the championship standings, as the field comes to take the green on the restart on lap 101.
Alex Barron leads him down. Moreno's actually the leader of the race, and he's going to run in track. You see that? About 5 wide going into 1? Whoa!
Montoya down low, Castroneves up high.
And within this battle, what you've got to keep in mind is Moreno is the leader there, and his teammate's sitting a little bit back, but Montoya is in attack mode right now. And they are overcoming some of the slower cars in the field, putting right now Alex Barron a lap down.
There's a major sense of urgency between many drivers to stay in the lead pack at this point in the race, as we literally had 5 wide racing on the damn restart. Mauricio Gugelmin's engine lets go on lap 104, and he will finish 17th, 9th DNF. Alex Barron is battling Castroneves to stay on the lead lap. On lap 109, Pappas gets the lead from Castroneves as Brack comes into their battle. On lap 115,
Yellow just came up. Yep, got another engine going, and it's Shinji Nakano this time. And this one involves an awful lot of fire at the back end. You were talking about those JATO boosters. That's what they would look like, only in this case it's slowing the car down. So we'll pull the yellow flag once again and slow the field down. I was going to suggest to you, and Jan, I'll be right back to you. Montoya.
Shinji Nakano, I know I butchered that and I'm sorry, engines expires as a fire erupts in the engine, ending his day, bringing out another caution. He will finish 16th, 10 DNFs. The entire lead lap field pits. Brack and Pappas get just 2 right side tires, while Castroneves gets 4 new tires, as Brack wins the race off pit road. Now the points are back in DeFerrin's favor, but Brack is very much now in contention. As the race hits halfway, Brack leads the field back to green.
Pace picks up. Kenny Brack is going to lead the field back. Green flag is out. Back to full speed once again. Max Pappas, Brack's teammate, is there in second place. Not good for Max to necessarily be in front, but also Montoya comes around. Brack drops to third. Blundell closes in. really wonder if that is rivalry or team strategy there.
Well, I think what happened is that Kenny just gave a great tow to both Max Pappas and Juan Montoya, and they slingshotted by and left Kenny for dead coming off the second corner. Mark wasn't able to use that momentum to his advantage, and now everything is...
What a friggin' battle this is between Brack, Montoya, Castroneves, Pappas, and Blundell, who is having a great run today. However,
out of the run, and right now he's with Rick DeBrule as Kenny Brack. Oh, and looks like Blundell's got an engine going.
Mark, you're blowing. You get out of it.
He's just going to run it right up next to the wall. And that's the only thing a driver can do. He couldn't cut back down on the track since he's running in his own oil. The best thing you could do...
That is great. I mean, that pass you put on him was awesome.
Just as he goes into the lead, the engine lets him down, but a great bit of driving by Mark Blundell. What a way to end his career here in kart, at least for now.
As soon as he takes the damn lead, Blundell's engine expires, and now it's becoming apparent attrition survival was going to be the name of the game. Blundell, who thought his race was over on Sunday, but with the rules change, is able to continue the race, but will ultimately finish 15th. 11 DNFs in 130 laps. During this caution, a few cars, including Max Pappas and Adrian Fernandez, pit for fuel only. Brack will ultimately lead the field back to green on the restart on lap 134.
Kenny Brack gets great momentum coming back to the green. Montoya in pursuit. What Brack may have gained in momentum off of 4, he's losing now, and once again, up high, Castroneves uses the high line, goes to second.
Now he's got the draft coming down the back straightaway, but he holds off on the entry of turn 3. I'm kind of amazed. I think he actually feathered out of the throttle there, but now Castroneves looking to the high side, keeping clean air on that car. Montoya goes with him. Castroneves trying to decide whether he's going low or high. You don't want to move your hands quickly at these speeds. The cars run a very slow steering rack here, 7-1 in comparison to what they do on road or street course.
The game between Castroneves and Brack continues, but now Montoya joins in, and for the first time today, Christian Fittipaldi is in the lead as he goes for the lead and gets it on lap 138. 4 laps later, Brack gets lead back from Fittipaldi, and Castroneves swap the lead again. Brack needs to lead the most laps to even have a shot at the championship, but if enough cars fall out of the race, it won't even matter. As we come back from commercial break, ESPN decides to do an early short version of Crank It Up.
Saw Carpentier pull low and off the course. He's going for a routine stop.
He may have some gearbox problems, we hear, Paul.
Oh, yeah, they're at the back of the car now. Carpentier does roll and rejoins the fight.
As you guys already have seen, we have shattered the lead change record for this race with 35 lead changes already. Christian Fittipaldi takes the lead at lap 155 and gives the lead back up to Kenny Brack shortly afterwards. The momentum of the race has shifted a lot in certain spots. Patrick Carpentier has suffered multiple issues as he was already 2 laps down after being in the Canan Andre and Servia incident, as he had damage from the accident after debris. He ends up having an oil pump failure, leaving him 14th. 12 DNFs. Back from commercial break, the leaders are on pit road for the second round of pit green flag pit stops today. Major front wing changes on Brack's car. All cars wait for fuel to fill up. However, a couple laps later on lap 167.
And Kenny Brack slows. Kenny Brack slows down. Kenny Brack slows on the backstretch. It's a long way to the pits. The crew is there.
It's running. It's just like yesterday when the turbo blew. It's running, but it's not. It's running, but it's not running. All right.
Then there were 2.
Kenny has done everything that was required of him. He'll roll to a stop so slowly after such.
Give you 1 turn away. Don't forget to pump the brakes. Don't forget to pump the brakes.
After such a high-speed season for Kenny. Rick?
Boy, how frustrating this crew. Everything just kind of, all the arms went up in the air at the same time together. You see they're going to go to work on the backside, but the reality is...
Kenny Brack's turbocharger dies on the back straightaway, officially taking him out of the championship fight. After trying to lead the most laps, he will finish 13th. Half the field is now out of the damn race with this 13th DNF. Pappas assumes the lead after the green flag cycle. Back from commercial break, Joe DeFerrin has come out of nowhere to take the lead from his teammate. Shortly after that...
Fuel that we saw prior to this pit stop.
Whoa! Looks like Pappas.
Pappas, I think you're right, Paul. Yep.
Yellow came out. Something broken there.
Well, it looks like the
Paul,
rear
it was
tires are
smoking.
very shiny right now, Paul.
It was smoking when it came by end of pit road.
Oh, it was.
Max Pappas loses an engine and does a 360 as he got in the apron. He will finish 12th, 14th DNFs of this race. All but one lead lap car pits. Fernandez takes fuel only. DeFerrin's car stalls, leaving him last on the lead lap. The points between Fernandez and DeFerrin were still very close, as they were only separated by 5 points. A couple of cars pit again right before the restart, including Montoya, Fernandez, and DeFerrin. A very young Casey Mears, who's in his first major IndyCar race, was the leader, as he had so far survived the engine grenading that was going on, and leads the field back to green.
Teammate, as he came in to change the left rear, Roberto Moreno brings him back to the green, or excuse me, Casey Mears brings them back to the green flag, but Alex Barron immediately moves out and around him. Moreno is in there too, but Alex Barron goes to the front. Players are back in the back of the field trying to come forward.
As they came back to green, the radio was alive with them telling the drivers, use as much fuel as you need. They're going to have to make one more stop unless this race slows down significantly because of a lot of yellow.
Montoya comes low, Castroneves goes high. They come up alongside of Casey Mears. Montoya takes second away from Mears. Mears goes low, Castroneves high. Castroneves to third. Now they chase Alex Barron. Both Montoya and Castroneves look for the front.
Almost immediately, Casey Mears gets jumped by Alex Barron, Castroneves, and Montoya, who give chase to Barron and dispose of him quickly. Michel Jourdain, who we have not talked about at all, is now in the top 3, trying to give Mercedes engine one last hurrah, as every other Mercedes running car out there is out of the race, most of them with engine failures. We have had some wild battles and 53 lead changes so far. However...
And now, 4.
Look at that. Alex Barron back by Jourdain. Jourdain takes the lead for a moment, then Alex Barron comes out to the front.
But you notice now...
Oh, I just heard an engine go off. Was that Jourdain's? We saw him just drop off the screen there. It looks like Mercedes-Benz may be going out of the series with a bang, Paul.
Well, Jourdain is still rolling.
No, but
off the speed.
No, his engine's definitely off song, Paul.
Yeah, he's losing miles an hour in revs very quickly.
Michel Jourdain Jr.'s Mercedes engine has got away, as Mercedes' last kart race will have none of their cars finish. Jourdain Jr. will finish 11th, as we have now 15 DNFs. Only 10 cars are left. Castroneves and Montoya both get around Barron as the 2 pull away. Another official crank it up happens.
Sit and enjoy this one. front wing, 3 turns of front wing. I might put a little bit of air in the right rear also.
Back from commercial break, Montoya and Attritionite swapped the lead until lap 219.
Turning up the wick, but I'm not going anywhere. But that can be horsepower. It also Montoya. And that's going to bring out the yellow. And that's going to bring it into range for the pit. Oh, it's changing again. Montoya has an engine go. Attrition has been an incredible factor. It brings us now down to only 9 cars actually left running as we go to the final miles and laps of this race in the battle for the championship. Chip Ganassi, the car owner. Oh, he's a happy puppy. They could have won this.
When Paul Montoya's Toyota engine expires, as the drive for the unofficial Triple Crown is now up in snow. Chip Ganassi, as you already saw, was hella pissed. Montoya's last race in car will finish 10th, as he is the 16th DNF. Now pit stops will occur. The entire lead lap field, which is 6 cars, pit. Every car gets 4 tires, and Christian Fittipaldi wins the race off pit road. Fernandez pits again as the team have gone too far on a rear wing adjustment. Fittipaldi leads the field of 9, 8 cars on the lead lap back to green. Psych! Caution is thrown immediately back out because the field will spread out too much for the restart. So attempt 2 is made on lap 226.
And Moreno moves to the inside of Castroneves as Fittipaldi got great momentum once again back to the flag and begins to disappear.
Christian Fittipaldi hoodwinked these guys. He got them off throttle, then got back on at exactly the right time going down into turn 3. But it looks now like Castroneves and Moreno are working together using the draft. They should be up behind Christian here in about another half a lap.
Christian Fittipaldi, who has had a pretty good year, but has not scored a victory since his a year ago at Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Has announced.
Oh, big smoke. Oh, and a spin. Castroneves going into 1, into 2. The engine let go. He got in the oil, backed in hard on the outside wall.
So Elio Castroneves, after an incredible run and a pretty good shot, as Montoya suggested, at the win here today.
Another engine problem? My God, holy shit. What the hell is going on with engines? Who did these guys piss off to cause this shit? Elio's engine blows up, then spins and backs to the car hard to the wall. Elio will finish 9th as he's taken out a stretcher just for precautionary measures, but ultimately luckily is okay after the accident. With this, he is now our 17th DNF. After an extensive cleanup, Fittipaldi leads the field back to green on lap 238.
Did it once before. Now they say we're green flag, we're going racing. Christian Fittipaldi leads them to the line. Moreno under attack by Alex Barron already. At the Farron that you saw sitting back there in 4th place. He needs to just stay right there.
And remember, it was Roberto Moreno who gave Dale Coyne Racing their best finish at the 1996 Michigan 500, and that was a 3rd place. And here's Alex Barron for Dale Coyne, now in 2nd.
There's the Farron, then Casey Mears, and look back, there is Fernandez.
Coming down to 10 to go, I mentioned him earlier, and I'm going to mention him again. Alex Barron is trying to give Dale Coyne Racing their best result. But then...
Oh. And another engine goes, and this time it's Barron.
Stay high.
Everybody comes through the area in front of the start-finish line, and it stays green. Now it goes yellow. Barron gets it off the track right at the end of the pit road, and I've got to tell you, as Fernandez came across the line right behind that, he was on his brakes so hard that they were glowing bright red across the line to front.
Barron's engine explodes. Barron's engine blows up after having an incredible underdog performance. He will finish 8th. 18 DNFs. After Barron's engine failure and a quick caution later, Fittipaldi leads 7 cars back to the restart, with 6 to go for what will be the final restart.
The field, as they like this start, the green flag comes out. Christian Fittipaldi across the line, followed by Moreno. Alex Tagliani takes a very close look at the Farron. at the same time trying for a move on Fernandez. No, it does not happen.
Yeah, we saw Fernandez get around Casey Mears there as they came by, but I've got to believe Adrian Fernandez is just hanging on for dear life right now. But what we've seen all day long is when these guys have geared up to go to the front, when they've gone down a gear, gone to full rich. We saw it with Blundell as he just took the lead, Michel Jourdain Jr., Juan Montoya. We just saw it with Alex Barron. The motors have not been able to stand the stress. And I tell you, these guys now have got everything they have available, their foot to the floor. If we're going to see additional engines go, it's going to happen in the next few laps as we come to the checkered flag.
The last thing that DeFerrin needs is to argue with Alex Tagliani over something like...
The question is, will an engine make it 6 laps? Well...
And the $1 million to DeFerrin. We've got a car spinning. A car into the wall. Tagliani, he had an engine let go just before it. It looks like the game may be totally over. Tagliani catches the wall. That was after he got around DeFerrin. It looks like Christian Fittipaldi is going to score win number 2 until...
Of course we have one last engine failure and crash that leads to 19 DNFs. With 2 laps to go, Alex Tagliani blows an engine, spins and crashes into the wall. Tagliani had never been a factor, but looked to potentially finish the year off with a podium. Instead, he will finish 6th after a hard crash. Tarso Marquez also finishes 7th, as he was 3 laps down. Christian Fittipaldi wins his first race this season and 2nd in his career. Roberto Moreno finished his 2nd to end off an impressive year. Adrian Fernandez dejectedly will take 5th place finish, the last car on the lead lap, as he will finish 2nd in points. Joe DeFerrin finishes 3rd to officially win his first IndyCar championship, and a young Casey Mears survives all the attrition to finish 4th. Oh yeah, these were all 5 cars officially in the frame. Marquez hasn't even seen at this point. That would fit all 6 cars would finish. 6 of the official 25 cars that started this damn race, over 75% would mean 19 cars in total with DNF, almost all from engine failures. 11 cautions for 85 laps, 57 lead changes at the start-finish line, and at least double from on-track lead changes, most ever at Fontana Speedway at the time, and 3rd all-time. It's arguably the craziest championship race, but in truth, it's truly the greatest Attritionite race of all time. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is Carter Gaming. See y'all next video.